Hello, sweeties. My name is Carrie Penny. I am the happy crafty homemaker, and today is another show and tell. No, I don't normally do a sticky opening. However, I did promise Carrie over at Carrie's Down the Rabbit Hole that should I come across my beautiful 12-foot Doctor Who scarf, I would do an opening just for her. If you have not checked out her channel yet, she is a bloody riot. Go now. Pause here. Link is down below. Go and check her out. So I did find my scarf. It was exactly where I thought it was, so I couldn't show it to you the other night because it was hiding, but it is the scarf that never ends. Yes, it goes on and on, my friend. Yeah. So it has already fallen out to be about 12 feet long. I am only 5'5". So there's a lot of wrappage that goes on trying to not trip on my scarf. But it is fun. And it's like double nerd because I actually made it using my scraps from my Harry Potter blanket that I was working on last year. So it's a completed object from a while ago, but I did want to share, and it gave me the perfect segue to do a shout out for Carrie's channel. All right, on to our normal stuff. Welcome back. Like I said, I don't normally do a sticky opening, but sometimes it is necessary. It's been a more productive week than my last couple weeks have been. Unfortunately, I think I just threw my notebook to the other side of the thing. Hold on just one second. Sorry. In the attempt to get all my acquisitions and all of my FOs and whips together, if I flip this down and like showed you, I'm doing 3 videos. This is my second time filming all 3. My camera went absolutely nuts yesterday, so I lost all my footage because it was randomly cutting out 3 to 5 minute segments. But in order to get everything together again, because it's already been shown once and I've already gone through all this once, I now have like piles and piles and piles of stuff just all over around me. First off, I wanted to get into, that is the wrong page, my finished objects. I finished my Glorious Granny. I used the Fiber Spider tutorial for it. I do not know how it compares to Creative Grandma's tutorial, but I really like the border on it. It's like it gives you a very soft shell effect, but the peak to the corner is particularly pretty. So I will actually probably use his border on further blankets. I did use 7 of the Premier Sweet Rolls in Wild Cherry to make it. So it is about 2 pounds, but it doesn't feel dense. It's not a dense blanket. It just took a lot of yarn. And you know, I was telling somebody, they asked if it was a yarn eater. It's not that it's not a yarn eater, and it's not that it is a yarn eater. Because it's a square blanket, you have to make it wider than you traditionally would for the length. Mine finished unblocked is about 4.5 feet, maybe just about 5 feet. Let's see. No, 4.5 feet. But it easily will block out smoothly to 5 feet. Maybe just shy of 5.5. So, I mean, it's a very sizable square blanket. So yes, it does take a lot of yarn. It did take, like I said, 7 cakes, and those are 5 ounces each. So it did take a lot, but not in the way we traditionally talk about and think about yarn eaters in crochet. It's not dense and heavy like the scrap gans and things like that when you're just trying to plow through a bunch of a color. It is, I mean, like I said, it's 2 pounds, but it's not dense at all. I mean, this still feels very light and manageable. I still have 6 sweet rolls and sweet cherry and 6 in the all green colorway. The green variant that matches it. So I think actually what I'm going to do is do what Rose did over at Rose Likes Crochet. And she took cupcakes in her case and made squares. I think I'm going to make a Christmas blanket using 1-foot squares in this. And that's, I know for me, going to feel a lot faster because when you get to some of these outer rows, I mean, my last 3 rows were 5 ounces. So, I mean, you've got a lot of distance you're covering when you get to a certain point on a square blanket. And, yeah, I mean, after about 3 feet, I was losing love with it, not because I wasn't enjoying working it or I didn't like the blanket, but it just felt like I wasn't making progress on the size of it anymore because I was changing balls out so fast. But I did weave in as I went. As soon as I had like 3 rows, I would go ahead and stop and just shoot those ends in real quick. So everything's woven in. It's ready for blocking. I am so pleased with it. I think I'm going to save this and enter it into the South Carolina State Fair this year. So yay, blankie. Let's see, next finished object. I can't show you. It is a gift for a fellow YouTuber that I know watches my channel. So I cannot show my other finished, the 2 identical objects that I talked about last week. I can't share those. I still haven't gotten those sent out. My next one is a hat for my granddaughter. I have not put the buttons on the inside of the hat or under the unicorn head. It's still all floppy. But Nilla Wafer loves her some unicorns, so this will actually be part of her Christmas gift. This is the DMC hat with the softie that Hobby Lobby clearanced out over the fall. My grandson, Tater Tot, saw the fox one, and he wanted that, and he said, but then Nilla Wafer needs a hat, so, and she likes unicorns, and they have a unicorn one too, so I bought hat kits for them. So I will go ahead and probably make the fox this week, maybe even this weekend. This literally took me an afternoon to pull together. It's a bulky weight yarn. Whatever this textured terry cloth feeling yarn is, they need to produce this as a standalone yarn. The rest of this was okay to work with. It was nothing, wow, I need that. This, on the other hand, and you can see kind of the furries on there and just the fluff. It's got like a silky hotel bathrobe terry cloth kind of feel. It's very nice. I really wish they'd make this as its own yarn. The other night I was getting kind of, I don't want to say bored, but like I said, Project Whipwall has been very aggressive when it comes to fingering weight yarns. And I needed a quick win. I really needed a quick win. So after I finished the hat, I looked at the Yarn Bingo and made a coaster for Yarn Bingo April. This is made out of the Premier Home. Like I said, I've already filmed this once. I'm glad I left everything up here yesterday and didn't bother taking it downstairs because, but I use Premier Home. The colorway is Pickle Juice or no, Pickle Splash. And this is the one cotton yarn I refuse to share because I love the colorway so much. It's just so pretty. And I mean, you can see how pretty it is worked up. It's bright and vibrant, and it's the things I like. Like, I don't decorate in that necessarily, but I like to look at it. I like to be around it. I think it's pretty. I think it's exciting. So the other thing she had on there, I was like, I did the coaster. She also had to do a placemat on there. Now, I have not woven in the ends on these yet, but I did. When I eat breakfast at the table, I eat generally like oatmeal or yogurt with fruit or something like that. So I really didn't need a huge placemat for breakfast. Like, that's more than enough to cover my coffee cup, and that's for a bowl. And they coordinate. They're not made by the same people. They don't actually match. I'll have the patterns. You know, I almost always try to leave the patterns in the description box below. The increasing for this pattern was very interesting. So if you're looking for something that looks like this, be forewarned, it's not a straightforward increase as you would think. Very interesting. And when you're reading the pattern, having the even granny clusters like this is not how you think it's going to turn out. But it was really nice. I think like the coaster was actually just called coaster. I mean, it's not even like flower coaster. It's just coaster. Let's see next. Next is my headband. So, like I said, I was just sitting there like, okay, what can I do that's an easy win? What can I, like, and I didn't know what to make. So I did have to use the Yarn Bingo card to give me ideas. But I did make another camel stitch headband. Y'all will have seen my neon one a couple weeks ago when I did my comparison of the hopscotch and gumdrop yarns. But I did this one. I will be circling back and doing a separate video. Lost in yesterday's filming. To review the Target yarns. Yeah. So, the last thing I have. I am super excited about this. I know. I'm a grade A wackadoo. But, wow, I'm having issues in my hands this morning. So, as many of you know, as part of Project Whipwall, I had a set of yarn sitting in my bag with my red socks, and I just kind of accidentally cast on because I was curious if 15 minutes a day would get my fingers used to using a 9-inch circular or not. Bam! So the advantage to having to refilm today's show and tell is I finished the toe on my second sock. I misjudged the place where I started the toe decrease, so there is like a 2-row difference in the length of the socks. But they fit. They're comfy cozy. I forgot to do the hidden how to hide the dog ears on your Kitchener. So one sock has kind of dog ears when I put them on the blocker, and the other one doesn't so much. But these are using Premier Serenity sock, and the color is chili. My foot is so long that with the shorty socks, now I do prefer shorty socks. If I had done even just a contrasting cuff, I could have done the full set with just one ball. But I didn't. And I wanted to make sure that I didn't want to weave in ends. I have 3 balls of stuff. I went ahead and cracked into the second ball. So these are actually 1.6 ounces, which is just over, when I did the grams, it was just over 50 grams. I mean, like less than 10 grams over. So doing the OMG heel, I would have to still use 2 balls of yarn, or I would still have to have 100 grams or 60 grams at my disposal. I don't like the way the heel flap style heel looks when you try to do the contrasting cuff with it. I'm very much the clean afterthought kind of gal, but I'm not opposed to matching cuffs and toes. So that would be a way I could work around it maybe. After doing these socks, I'm not quite ready to give my final opinions on 9-inch circulars. However, as much as I have not enjoyed it starting out, by the end of the second sock, I was able to just run with it and knit with it for an hour at a time. I understand the appeal to it, though. The portability of a 9-inch circular sock when you're working on the cuff, leg, and foot is immense. You know, DPNs get stuck on stuff and you're fidgeting with a bunch of needles. It's not very elegant to just sit quietly and knit. It's not very convenient in the car if you drop a needle, or there's just too many things at play. Doing the magic loop, you have two balls and you've got to kind of keep the separation. 2 at a time socks, you have to keep the separation in general. But 9-inch circulars are very much I would say it's like a washcloth project where you just keep one in your car in a bag. And if you, I know a lot of people are very much like, once they find their style, they just make the same vanilla sock over and over again with slight variation. What's her name? Yarn Hoarder podcast. I know she does that, and she'll have like 20 socks on the go at various stages. Ross, the Smells Like Yarn podcast, is he's actually the reason why I tried the OMG heel, which I do really like this sock pattern recipe. It is so well written. It is definitely beginner friendly because it is that well written. I've done socks that are not as easy to follow. This pattern is super easy. So if you're thinking about knitting socks, it's worth the $5. So yeah, I've got a finished pair of socks now. I'm 1 sock, 1 out of 6. I'm good. To make matters even more entertaining, we'll use that as the segue to what's in my whip bag. I have a couple of ladies who wanted me to do a private one-on-one with them on transitioning to knitting socks and really explaining it to them because they're all nervous. I will probably never do this again, but I'm doing it as a personal favor for some friends. But I did need to run a test sock real quick. This is the Cushy Chroma sock. It is a free sock pattern on Ravelry. I think it's actually in conjunction with, I think Knit Picks has the pattern on their website too. Another well-written pattern. It does have a much longer gusset decrease than I generally prefer, which means my arch ribbing was offset. For things like slipper socks and stuff, I do like to have arch ribbing because I wear them just around the house. So I like something that fits a little bit closer. Looks like we're going to have a issue a sock class today already. And we're not even, like, all we're doing is casting on and doing the cuff. We use the 2 circular method for this, which I had never done. So I did want to do a full test run. I wanted to test the pattern before I said, okay, this is a good pattern for y'all to start with. So this is also using the Target yarn. So it's 2 for me because that helps me review the yarn as well and gives you a crochet review and a knit review. But if the pattern is written for using 4 DPNs. If you're familiar with different forms of sock making, you can obviously translate that in your mind. The pattern is fine. I mean, I like the pattern, but I'm now so used to patterns with a much shorter gusset decrease area that I was not anticipating my ribbing being so far out. I mean, you can see, if this is where my toe decrease starts, that's going to be hitting the pad of my foot, not completely under my arch. And this part of my arch is going to be kind of baggy. Anyway, so that's what I've been working on. The second sock for this will hopefully be done in the next week. It'll be like the hat pattern, though. It's solely dependent on the people I'm teaching. So the red socks are still on their needles. I've only done probably about 10 rows on those. So I'm not even going to bother sharing those. But yeah, it's been a little sock crazy. And if I can finish both of these, that'll take me up to 3, which means I'm halfway done for the year on my goal for socks. My next pair, I am going to do toe up. I haven't decided if I'm going to go toe up on the 9-inch circulars. I did order some Hiya so I can compare those to the ChiaoGoo 9-inch circulars. And I did buy 2. I know I'm prone to second sock syndrome, and doing vanilla socks, like, I can see where that wouldn't be an issue for most people. I did not get second sock syndrome on those, but I know the more socks I make in a year, the less likely I am to finish, or finish in a reasonable amount of time. So I might do toe up on the Hiya just to see how I feel about them. I'll still have to use the DPNs for the toes and the heel, but that's fine. I mean, I know the guys over at Sweet Tea No Shade were talking about watching a video of somebody doing it all on a 9-inch circular, and it's like, no, honey, I ain't gonna even. I don't practice witchcraft. No, thank you. I'm good. So yeah, that's all my whips. I'm still nowhere near caught up on my unraveled mitten cowl. I also have not done my trees for Jade. I started them, but I haven't. They're not even worth showing right now, but I have worked a couple stitches of them. I still haven't started my Holly, it's my birthday cowl. I did get the yarn for it. It's sitting downstairs. I've been busy with other projects, doing other things. I think that's everything. Showing up. Where is Knit Mitts? Neon. I'm apparently missing some of the projects I've made because I am not seeing this hat that I showed last week on my list of FOs. I'm also missing the placemat. So hopefully as I'm putting this together, I will remember to go check that. Let me stop the video real quick and kind of get things ready for acquisitions. And I'll be back with you guys in just a second. So let's see if I can not mess up the second half of this, because so far, while I'm annoyed I had to re-record this, dude, I got a smudge on my lens already. Well, I'm bummed about having to re-record because I lost so much of my video. This is going much smoother than the last video. Even though I said 900 times and stumbling over words and brain things. Acquisitions. So the first thing I want to talk about is not made by me, and not even a gift for me. But, you know, I mentioned last week Troy was starting his new job this week, and he is working from home. Last week they did his, going away party and all that stuff. And they gave him a watch, and somebody gave him a really nice cologne. And it was just so many of them have worked together before. Like, it was kind of like breaking up the band. But if you remember during Vlogmas, the night of our Christmas party, when I came back, just to let you know, the party was a blast. It was 2 a.m. when we finished cleaning up and all that stuff. I was eating a chicken biryani as I was like winding down for the night and stuff. And the lady who made that is named Asha. And I was raving about how delicious it is. And I was telling Troy, I said one of the biggest disappointments about the fact that he's not going to be at Health and Human Services anymore is I can't just be like, next time Asha brings in chicken biryani, bring me a dish. But she was very sweet. And instead of, giving him a gift certificate or something like that, which are fantastic gifts, don't get me wrong, she actually made him a gift. And not only is it just a sweet personal gift, but she personally, the fact that Troy plays guitar and stuff, like, it's a very personal gift. So I wanted to thank Asha personally. I know she's occasionally stopped by here, but Troy really appreciates this, and so do I. I love handmade gifts and going through the extra effort of making it something that is personal to Troy. So I did want to share because I think it's a very sweet gift and it's very beautiful. So thank you so much, Asha. Next on my acquisition train. So I get a lot of questions about what do I make with the fabric behind me. Since we moved into this house, not a lot. The only project I have sewed beginning to end, I did 2 skirts. That's it. A lot of it has to do with the fact my room is really, I haven't figured out how to properly set it up for certain things. And when I sew, I'm one of those people that needs a whole lot of elbow room and a whole lot of room on the desk. I don't like to be sewing in a cluttered environment. Even with the amount of fabric I have and everything else, I was on Instagram the other day and somebody was sharing a bag made out of this fabric. Carrie had to buy some. It's flannel. And it's knitting seeps. I actually think I will probably make a bag out of this, but I also kind of want a sleep shirt out of it. So I did order, I know a lot of people would like to know where I order things from. I did order it from fabric.com. But this is what actually sent to me fabric shopping. I saw 2 different project bag designers had this fabric. And one of the things I want to make isn't just like a drawstring project bag. I really want a proper big tote. Get my handle out here. But like this is one of the bags I have made in the past. And I really like this size. I really like bags this big. This one turned out particularly nice with the lavender and I called them the tattoo flowers. I really don't know how to explain this fabric. There's another one that to me also looks like tattoo roses that I have, but I'm very proud of how that turned out. I have another lavender and pink tote bag, but can you not, I mean, come on. How could I not buy it? And if I do I think with this, I might actually redo this bag. And where the roses are, use yeah. I'm kind of excited about that. But I do need to finish getting my room pulled together. I'm used to having a lot of closet space in my craft rooms and having to have everything out and only having the break in the ceiling, like I said, is at 5 feet. So I can't have any storage over 5 feet tall. And I'm used to floor to ceiling, full size room storage. Like I had to buy, these are the Billy bookcases from IKEA. This is just the bottom section, not the double tiered sections. And I had to do that because that's as far as I could get. So I do have, ooh, I broke my stand the other day. So, I mean, I do have a couple of things that are kind of helping me with storage up there, but it's not very pretty. It's not very efficient. And so I end up using my desk a lot for just, it's the dining room table or the kitchen table phenomena where things just kind of accumulate. That's kind of what's happened. I have started a number of projects. I just haven't finished. I wanted to do a bunting scarf for my mantle. The fabric's still laying out over there from where I pulled that. I've got some bowl cozies. If you watch Billy, she talks about sewing those too. But yeah, I got the fleece lining and stuff like that laid out. I just never progressed with it. One thing happens and then my cutting table turns into a disaster zone, and then I've got, things that get stacked up on my sewing table because I don't sew so frequently because since we moved, I haven't really felt comfortable sewing. Yeah. So it's like the reinforcing, I'm just not happy with my space and I'm not sure why. So anyway, that is, I'm hoping I can get, I've got 3 bags. I washed the fabric. I have it ironed. I need to they're going to be larger bags as well. I mean, I've got a lot of blanket projects on the run right now. I've got the Unraveled Mitten, the Jada 2017, the Jada 2019. They're like, I just finished the Glorious Granny, and I had to I could only take 2 balls at a time downstairs with me or in my bag with me because my bag wasn't big enough, because I've got a blanket in this one and I've got a blanket in the other one that is a legacy project. It's a multi-year project. So I need a couple more of the tote bag size, and what I'm seeing from most makers is those are going to cost me about $75 to make or to buy, and I can make that. And I'm pretty good at making totes, like big totes. I'm not as good with the zippered totes. Anyway, we're already in the 30-minute zone here, so I need to step up my game. The last major acquisition is this box. And I'm going to try to not knock the camera stand over, but... So I made an order from Knit Picks. Got a pin badge. Another pin badge, because the enamel pins were being clearanced out. So I got those. When I placed my order, there was a free bag offer. This is now like my 3rd free pack I've gotten with them. But yeah, so I've got a little bag here, which will come in very handy because I ordered a naked sock blank. This is Bear Felici, Bear Stroll Glimmer, and you can still, even on the bear, see that sparkle. This is some regular stroll fingering. Can you see a theme? You see the theme? Stroll fingering. Wool of the Andes. Felici. Stroll Glimmer. And that's everything. So I got 2 Felicis, 2 strolls, 2 stroll glimmers. No, 1 stroll. 1 plain stroll. 2 glimmer strolls. 2 Felicis. 6 things of wool of the Andes, and 1 sock blank. So I'm blaming, I've seen a number of other people blaming different people. However, I am solely blaming Miss D. Thompson and Miss Carla May. It's y'all's fault. Y'all did it. Now, I will say, after it was initially Carla. D, I'm just blaming because, well, why not? Why not blame D? She had some really beautiful skeins or hanks that she dyed and shared on Instagram. And then she was showing us her hanks in a Zoom chat. And it's like, yeah, okay, I'm going to have to I'll try it myself. Now with the sock blank, I'm actually going to use one of the Tulip tie-dye kits. But, I did start watching Kim Knits tutorials after Carla was talking about using the Kim Knit tutorials for her Easter egg dye. And one of the ones she did, she took a cake of sock yarn, and she had one of the deluxe Easter egg dye sets, and she squished the pellets in random places in the cake and then set it in her acid soak. And that finished yarn, even though there was more bare space than she wanted, that yarn was beautiful. I really kind of want that yarn. And she doesn't have any of it for sale right So I'm going to try dyeing my own yarn. I am doing all food dyes. I'm not going to get into acid dyeing or jacquard or anything like that. I'm gonna stick to the food dyes right now. Convenience, number one, and safety. But as it stands right now, I don't have a whole lot of storage room in my craft room. So I'd kind of like to get to where I could have my pot and my dye and everything stored here. I could use the under the sink in my laundry room, but I'd never see it, so I'd never think about it. So that I ended up with 6, 8, 10, 12, 13 different things to dye. I did want to try Wool of the Andes. While it's not my favorite wool yarn, it does seem to take color very nicely, and I'm not opposed to it. Like, it's not that I don't like it. I just don't run out and bulk buy it when it's on sale. It's a little durable when you're working with it, but it does soften very nicely when you soak it. So it's your initial response and reaction to it is not what the finished garment is ever going to feel like. So if you've used it or if you felt it and you're like, don't let that be indicative. It is very soft once you soak it and the fibers relax a little bit, but in the ball, it is a little, not even scratchy. It just feels, it's more coarse. It's a little bit more durable. So yeah, those are my acquisitions, my finished objects. Life update. Troy's worked from home all week. So he's enjoying his new job. I shared on Instagram a picture of him enjoying his cup of coffee, sitting there taking a conference call. So yeah, it's been interesting having him home all the time. But like I said, we've done this before. This isn't our first time with him working from home. That's about it. I think I covered everything. I talked about Carrie. I will link Carla Kim Knits down below. Miss D still won't start herself a YouTube channel. I'm watching you, D. I'm watching you. I'm talking to you. So I can't send you to her anywhere, but if you happen to see her on Instagram, she is, and if you're a fellow YouTuber, you've already seen her, or if you're active in the Facebook groups, you've already seen her. She's very active in the crochet and knitting community as a whole. She's very engaged, but we can't seem to get her to take the extra step to start sharing in video format with us. So I'll make sure all those channels are linked down below. If you like calm and sedate podcast, Carrie will not be the channel for you. If you want to watch somebody who's going to make you laugh so hard you can't breathe and you feel like you've done 100 crunches, go check out Carrie's channel. I met her in a Zoom chat. I'd actually been subscribed to her from another recommendation. But after meeting her in a Zoom, oh my goodness, she is fantastic. She is just a riot. So hello, sweetie. Bow ties are cool. Actually, I almost bought a hank of yarn from Stephen B when they were running their sale the other day that is fezzes are cool. But I was torn between fezzes are cool and they had Oh Hail No, HAIL. And it was a red colorway. And it was in their Star Trek line. So the red shirts. Oh Hail No. Anyway, so I couldn't decide between the two of those. And then I was like, all right, I really don't need more yarn. But I'm kind of regretting my choice to not buy both. It's like when you see the new Lolo Did It colorways, each hippo you want to buy immediately. So, anywho, so over the next couple weeks, I'll have a lot more whips going. Depending on my weekend, I might pull the Red Sox off the Addy, move them to Just went out the back door. I might pull them off the big long needle and just do them on the 9-inch circulars and see if that goes any faster. Because we do have a lot of stuff we're doing this weekend, so I'll have a lot of car time. Or I might just cast on another pair of socks. Just saying. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Actually, this will probably go up on Saturday, so I hope you're having a wonderful weekend. I look forward to seeing you all real soon. If I forget anything in the description box that you want more information on, let me know. Questions, comments, concerns. Hey, Carrie, do a video on ... Auntie Vernon, I am compiling information for you. But I was glad to finally have FOs to show you. So we're getting there. Take care. I'll see you guys next week. I should have a normal schedule next week. We're hoping. Yeah. Take it easy. Take care. Stay calm. Crochet on. And I will catch up with you guys real soon. Love you guys. Thank you.